I request everyone to kindly take their seats. Good morning to our august gathering of dignitaries, our esteemed guests, participants, attendees, and all those present here. I welcome Reverend Father Jairaj Veluswamy, SJ, Rector, St. Xavier's College Autonomous Kolkata, our beloved and respected Father, Reverend Dr. Dominic Savio, SJ, Principal, St. Xavier's College Autonomous Kolkata, Professor Bertrand da Silva, Vice Principal, Department of Arts and Science, Reverend Dr. Joseph Kulandai, SJ, Vice Principal, Department of Commerce Morning, Reverend Dr. Peter Arokyam, SJ, Vice Principal, Department of Commerce Evening, MCOM and BMS, Dr. Charlotte Simpson Vegas, Vice Principal, Department of Education, Reverend Father Johnson Padiara, SJ, Vice Principal, Raghapur Campus, our Professor in Charge, Dr. Tridip Sengupta, distinguished guests, working committee members, and all those present here. I heartily welcome you all to the opening ceremony of the OnCampus program 2023, organized by Hull Price St. Xavier's College Autonomous Kolkata. 3 years ago, when we joined the Hull Price bandwagon, we were determined to not only sustain the movement, but also spread it further. Today, as we host the second offline and the fourth overall edition of the OnCampus program, we hope to impart experiences that will be etched in everyone's minds. Before we proceed further, I request our dignitaries and our host for the ceremony, Mr. Arvind Balasubramaniam, to kindly join us on stage. I request our volunteers to kindly escort our dignitaries to the dais. As we begin our opening ceremony, I request our dignitaries to kindly light the ceremonial lamp marking the beginning of the OnCampus program. I would now like to introduce everyone to our host for the ceremony, Mr. Arvind Balasubramaniam, who we also know as RJ Arvind. RJ Arvind has more than 19 years of broadcast experience and has worked with multiple radio stations in Kolkata. He eats and lives films and music, particularly from the retro era. His passion inspired him to set up 3 radio stations in eastern India. He has also been instrumental in setting up Kolkata's first retro station. He's also a blogger, a stage anchor, and hosts his own podcast. He writes columns regularly for various newspapers and magazines on topics pertaining to Bollywood and retro music. Thank you for gracing us with your presence today, sir. I request you to kindly take over.
Yeah, thank you so much. Believe it or not, half of it, whatever she said is actually true. You know, when you hear someone talking about yourself, your mind races back, to past and present about the things that you did, and things that you're about to do. I've never taken a piece of paper with me in the studios or on stage. I always keep things in my heart and in my mind. So if I have a paper, please bear with me. That's only to ensure that I really don't goof up with the flow of events and the order. But first and foremost, it's a little my style to ask for a little energy from the audience. So a huge round of applause to all the students, all the dignitaries. Let's get the energy running a little bit. While coming to St. Xavier's College, I was actually thinking, how do I start by saying something that triggers a thought in your hearts? At some point of time, each one of us has actually questioned the universe in our favorite vacation, in the balcony, in the terrace, maybe with friends. Who are we? What are we supposed to do? Very few people have ventured to find an answer to these two extremely important questions. Now, when we talk about entrepreneurship today, I think it's very safe to assume that if you're good at doing what you're good at doing, doesn't mean you're going to be happy at doing what you're good at doing. What you're good at doing is simply because you're good at that. But what brings you real happiness is the passion that you have to follow and pursue your dreams. And I think an entrepreneur questions himself, what's his passion? How is it that he can make a dent in the universe? How is it that he can make some amount of value add, if he could contribute to the world around him, so that he could leave a legacy for solving a problem that no one's actually thought about? And that is why I would say entrepreneurs are an extremely rare breed of people who really answer that question, who are we? What is our purpose? And they really move forward to answer those questions. And before I start, I really pray to God with the depth of my heart that each one of you students sitting here in this auditorium, as you listen to the speakers, as you experience wonderful dignitaries on stage, I pray that you become one of those entrepreneurs really who makes a dent in the universe, because that's what you expect from a Xaverian and nothing less. You can clap if you like it. Yeah. You don't have to ask me permission for a round of applause. That makes my job a lot more easier as an anchor here. So easen up your nerves a little bit. Let's relax. Let's have a beautiful day ahead of us. And good morning to everyone. I take this moment to thank our dignitaries for their guidance and support. I would now like to request Umang Agarwal, the campus director of Hunt Prize SXC, to felicitate Reverend Father Jairaj Veluswamy, SJ Rector, St. Xavier's College, Autonomous, Kolkata. Thank you so much, Father. I hope all of you have had breakfast, right? Yeah, because I'm so used to being in this St. Xavier's auditorium, even in the 3 years when we were doing Zawatsa, that the round of applause I felt would reach the depths of the universe. So make sure that your round of applause is as active and as energetic as it can be. Come on, everyone, you can do better. Yeah, much better, like that. Someone I was a student of, and I'm starting to realize there is not a single person in the universe, especially anyone who's graduated out of St. Xavier's College, who can actually safely say that he's not been, a student of Professor Dr. Tridip Sengupta. So one of my favorite teachers, someone who's inspired, someone who's motivated always, someone I think who can never say no for anything that you ask him to do, because he is an eternal Superman and the Clark Kent who is in the St. Xavier's campus. Please put your hands together, and I would like you to request Dr. Tridip Sengupta to felicitate one absolute inspirational gentleman. Every time that I meet him and every time that I talk, even if it's for a couple of minutes, I think I learn a lot from that interaction. Reverend Dr. Dominic Savio, SJ Principal, St. Xavier's College, Autonomous Calcutta. Can we have a huge round of applause for him? Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, Father. I would like to say this on record, on stage here. You're very lucky to have Father with you in your time. Trust me, the things that's happening in this campus, every single campus in Kolkata or probably Eastern India and I don't know other corners of the country would be dreaming to have events of this kind where the exposure to students, is on a level that's unprecedented. I would now like to request Shomajit Paul, a final year student of Masters of Economics, to felicitate Professor Bertram De Silva, Vice Principal, Department of Arts and Science. I now request Mohit Botova, second year student of the Department of Commerce, Morning, to felicitate Reverend Dr. Joseph Kulundai, ST Vice Principal, Department of Commerce, Morning. Thank you so much, Father. On a lighter note, when I joined St. Xavier's College, I was told that I had to wake up early in the morning and be here for, the BCom classes, which start very early. I actually thank the discipline for the 3 years because I now do a morning breakfast show on radio, which entitles me to wake up at 4:35 a.m. in the morning and report to my work at 6:30. So every time I do that, I still feel that I'm a Xaverian who's just going back to the campus and doing my work. So when you get up early, especially the BCom morning students, make sure that you utilize this to the best of your abilities because it's something that you will remember for a long time. I request Prateek Chaudhary, a final year student of the Department of Commerce, Evening, to felicitate Reverend Father Peter Arokiam, ST Vice Principal, Department of Commerce, Evening, Masters of Commerce and Department of Management Studies. Thank you so much, Father. The true spirit of a Xaverian is to follow your heart and do things that others find extremely impossible. You don't become a trend follower, you become a trend setter with the dreams you have, with the passions you nurture. The Hult Prize Foundation has been transforming how young people envision their own possibilities as leaders of change in the world around them. Now you know the amount that you're going to get as a Global Starter Prize as the anchor activity. The Hult Prize has brought impact-focused programs, events, and training to over 1 million students globally, creating a pathway for youth everywhere to take action to build a better world. The Hult Prize continues to be, and I love this word, disruptive global leader in social entrepreneurship and youth empowerment for the 21st century. Now, the annual competition for the Hult Prize aims to build and launch the most compelling social business ideas, startup enterprises that tackle grave issues faced by millions of people around the globe every day. In 2019, St. Xavier's College, Autonomous Kolkata joined hands with the Hult Prize community to bring about change and impact more people. Before I invite Father Principal to come up on stage and say a few words, coincidentally, I read this quote just 2 days back in a wonderful book. And the quote said, I think I find it very relevant to share it with you here. You know, if I offer you 300 crores today, then you would say that's too much money, right? Yes or no? Yes or no? Yes or no? Yeah, who said no? I like the one voice that came and said, no, you don't have to be shy, because give him a huge round of applause. I don't know who said that. You know, the book exactly mentioned that 300 crores is good, but why do you limit yourselves to 300 crores? When 300 crores compared to 1,000 crores looks a lot more smaller, right? You don't get success because you ask for it. You don't get success because you beg for it. You don't get success if you dream about it. You know how you get success? When you attract it. And the only way you attract it is with an extremely strong desire to go ahead and do what needs to be done. And don't limit yourself and limit the possibilities in your mind. I would now like to invite Father Principal to address the audience and enlighten us about Hull Prize's SXC journey. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Aravind. Aravind, you can sit on that. Please take your seat. Reverend Father Rector, Father Jairaj Veluswamy, Reverend Father Dr. Joseph Kulandai, Vice Principal, Reverend Father Dr. Peter Arogyam, Vice Principal, Professor Bertram De Silva, the Vice Principal, and Professor Trideep Sengupta, Professor in charge of this program, and our dear friend Arvind, and all the dignitaries who will be talking to you later in the program, and all the faculty members, and our dear students, and all the support staff present here. Bill Drayton wisely advocated, I quote, "The one single factor that determines society's success is the percentage of change makers within it." At St. Xavier's College, Kolkata, we have always encouraged our students to be agents of change and lead by example. Today, I am proud to say that Hull Prize St. Xavier's College, Kolkata, in association with the Hull Prize Foundation, has been instrumental in fostering a culture of social entrepreneurship among our young students. We take immense pride in hosting the 4th edition of the Hull Prize OnCampus program 2023 this year. Venturing into the realm of style and design, the Hull Prize has adopted the theme of redesigning fashion for 2023. This platform provides an opportunity for our students to bring their innovative ideas and plans for a more sustainable clothing industry to life and contribute to the achievement of sustainable development goals. Last year, the on-campus program was conducted online due to the restrictions imposed by the COVID-19 pandemic. Focused on getting the world back to work by thinking local and acting global. We hosted more than 25 teams last year. This year, we are proud to host the second offline and the 4th overall edition of the Hull Prize on-campus program. I was told that about 40 teams will be participating today and tomorrow. I take this opportunity to welcome our distinguished guest, Mr. Joydeep Mukherjee is already here, co-founder and Snap E-Caps, and Mr. Vivek Bajaj, co-founder, Stock Edge, to the opening ceremony of the Hull Prize on-campus program 2023. My heartiest welcome to the judges for the morning, Mr. Sumit Agarwal, Mr. Abhishek Datta, Ms. Swati Gautam, Mr. Mahavir Poddar. Thank you for all being with us today. Of course, all of them are not there. I think maybe will be joining the program. I also take this moment to convey my heartfelt appreciation to to the Health Prize team members, especially their campus director, Umang Agarwal, with his team. He has been working very hard. I don't know, he must have visited principal's office not less than 30 times in 30 days. Of course, various permissions. Who under the guidance of their professor in charge, Dr. Pradeep Sengupta, have worked day and night for the last few months to execute ideas and convert them into reality today and tomorrow. The Health Prize On-Campus Program 2023 is a trailblazing initiative that has the potential to transform the fashion industry from simply being about glamour and frills to being a catalyst for global change. I wish our students the best of luck as they embark on this revolutionary journey. Thank you. May God bless you all. Thank you very much. Okay. One thing you must remember, this Health Prize event and TEDx, it's a very few campuses these programs are held. And I'm talking about whole India. In some campuses, they may not understand what is Health Prize, what is TEDx. They may not know that because it's our global program. And I would like to specially thank Professor Pradeep Sengupta for taking this initiative, bring these two programs year after year. I think it's highly appreciable. Thank you very much, Professor Sengupta, for all your initiative. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Father. And I'll take this as a cue to continue. I now request the professor in charge of Health Prize, St. Xavier's College, Dr. Pradeep Sengupta, to kindly address all the stakeholders of the Health Prize S60 community and the lovely audience.
Very good morning to all present here. Respected dignitaries, respected Father Jairaj Veluswamy, our rector, Reverend Dr. Dominic Savio, our beloved principal, Professor Bertram de Silva, Vice Principal, Department of Arts and Science, Reverend Dr. Joseph Kulandai, Vice Principal, Department of Commerce Morning, Reverend Dr. Peter Arokyam, Vice Principal, Department of Commerce Evening, BMS, and Masters of Commerce. I stand in great awe in the presence of such Jesuit fathers who have really inspired us to go from strength to strength. The gathering we have here, the other programs, the movement in the path of our life has been all inspired by the fathers, their kind words, their support. Every time we approach them, they have a smile on their face and a hand held out to help us in all kinds of desires we express to them. No matter what is the time of the day or whatever be the difficulties, they are always ready to help us. And they only drive us, the faculty and the students alike, to go further into the untrodden path where we can take our college to greater glory. And a word of appreciation for my team members who have really put in untold amount on efforts, working till late into the night and right from early morning. There's been no limit to their efforts and the energy and the time they have spent on this program. And the support staff and everybody concerned. St. Xavier's is a ground which really nurtures everybody to become something special in life. It's a family, and the blessings of the Father and our beloved principal who have guided us over the past number of years, even when he was the vice principal, taking us to greater heights. Thank you very much from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you so much. I loved how Sir used the words that we are a family. And in a family, everyone works together, everyone stays together. Yes, there will be problems, but beyond those problems, it's the unity of the family that helps to overcome the problem in a very easy way. I'm going to say this from the heart. Every time I come back to the campus for any activity, I am in awe of how the students are managing things so efficiently, so beautifully. Right from the time that you enter the campus to how the events are lined up, please put your hands together for all the student volunteers. I think they do a phenomenal job. They don't just do a good job, they do a phenomenal job of making things so much more easier, for all of us to execute here on stage. I now request the Wonder Boy, the young super boy, someone who's been to father's office 30 times in 30 months, in 30 days, has to be a superhero. Umang Agarwal, the campus director of Hult Prize, St. Xavier's College, Autonomous, Calcutta, to declare the on-campus program 2023 open.
A very good morning to Reverend Father J. Raj Veluswamy, SJ, Rector, St. Xavier's College, Autonomous, Kolkata, our beloved and respected Father, Reverend Dr. Dominic Savio, SJ, Principal, St. Xavier's College, Autonomous, Kolkata, Professor Bertram Da Silva, Vice Principal, Departments of Art and Science, Reverend Dr. Joseph Kulendai, SJ, Vice Principal, Department of Commerce, Morning, Reverend Dr. Peter Arokyam, SJ, Vice Principal, Department of Commerce, Evening, Department of Management Studies and Masters of Commerce. Dr. Charlotte Simpson Vegas, Vice Principal, Department of Education. Our Professor in Charge, Dr. Tridip Sengupta, our distinguished guests, working committee members and students. From being nominated as the only college all over India for the Program of the Year Award under the Central and South Asia region in Nairobi, Kenya, to still being appreciated by the Global Hult Prize team of Hult Prize, we have always tried to exceed our boundaries. Each year, the Hult Prize challenges students across the globe to solve social challenges facing millions of people across the world. The 2023 Hult Prize Challenge is redesigning fashion with the idea of launching an innovative social venture in the clothing and fashion industry to make it more sustainable by the year 2030. Today's fashion industry is the world's third largest manufacturing sector, contributing $2.4 trillion to the global economy. Over 150 billion articles of clothing are produced each year. Fashion employs 300 million people across its value chain, a sixth of the entire world's workforce. Unfortunately, all of this comes at a terrible environmental and social cost. To cut down this cost, I invite all the budding entrepreneurs of our college to come forward and redesign the fashion industry through their innovative and sustainable business plans. Therefore, I declare the Hult Prize on-campus program 2023 open. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Umang. And it's now one of the most important moments. The speakers for the day, Mr. Vivek Bajaj and Mr. Joydeep Mukherjee. Please bear with me and put your hands together for the first speaker of the day, Mr. Vivek Bajaj. He is the co-founder of Stock Edge and also the founder of Credit Info Edge. It's an enterprise that's involved in simplifying finance for everyone. And over 17 years of experience in the financial market, he is a chartered accountant, a company secretary, and an MBA from IIM Indore. He began his career as an analyst and moved on to become a trader and create one of the largest derivatives trading desks in Eastern India with over 150 traders and also one of the top algo trading desks in Mumbai. He's passionate about data, he's passionate about technology, he's passionate about education, and for the last 6 years, he's been involved in empowering people with right learning and analytics in finance through his online ventures, elearnmarkets.com and the Stock Edge app. We welcome you, Mr. Bajaj. Thank you so much for joining us today. Can we have a huge round of applause for him? And our second speaker for the day is Mr. Joydeep Mukherjee. He's the co-founder and COO of Snappy Cabs. He's a techno business professional with over 30 years of industry experience, spanning ICT, IT, ITES, business process consulting, and P&L management. With over 15 years of experience in leadership roles in global corporations like Oracle, IBM Corporation, Ericsson, AB Technologies, Worley, just to name a few, he's executed large business transformation projects in China, Philippines, Australia, and Europe. He's been instrumental in setting up global delivery centers, software factories across IBM Corporation, Ericsson AB, and Worley Design Delivery Center. Since 2019, he's been focused as an entrepreneur, and currently associated with EDP Software as a CEO, and is also the co-founder and CEO for EC Wheels India Private Limited. He's a management graduated from Asian Institute of Management and has completed his executive management program from IIM Bengaluru. We welcome you, Mr. Mukherjee, and thank you so much for joining us today. I now request Dr. Dominic Savio, SJ Principal, St. Xavier's College, Autonomous, Kolkata, to felicitate Mr. Vivek Bajaj, and I request Mr. Vivek Bajaj to kindly join us on stage. And can we have a huge round of applause welcoming him? Thank you so much, Father. I now request Father to felicitate Mr. Joydeep Mukherjee, and I request Mr. Mukherjee to join us on stage.
May I have the opportunity to request Father Principal to please give a term of appreciation to our very own R.J. Arvind. A round of applause to make Arvind happy. Arvind was a very successful Xaverian, winning many awards for us across the country.
Thank you, sir. You made my job a lot more easier. I cannot ask for a round of applause for myself on stage. But for corrections, I feel extremely happy, not with a round of applause, but you know when I feel happy? Whenever I drive by Park Street and I see St. Xavier's College, I really feel happy. When I come inside, I feel happier. When I sit, interact with Sir, you, all the students, and I follow most of you on Instagram, after the UConnect session, I feel happiest when I see each one of you. So I feel really happy when I'm in Xavier's College. Because I think this is where my DNA is, this is where my blood is, and this is where my purpose is. And I owe everything to this college. I say this on record. 3 years of doing Zavotsa just made me face lakhs of people every day on radio for the last 20 years of my life. So who says college doesn't make a difference to your life? And you know, it's normal for a radio presenter to keep talking when he has a mic, but I promised myself that I'll be a very good boy today and talk extremely less. So we'll be proceeding with the speaker sessions for the day, and I request the volunteers to escort all the dignitaries from the stage to the audience. And please bear with us as we set up the stage for you. Could we have one collective round of applause for all the dignitaries, please? This is going to be one session that you are going to enjoy. How many of you, right up in the audience, please raise your hands. Quick, I want you all to raise your hands once. Everyone, everyone. Yeah, you're listening to me. Good. Just wanted to check that. In the mood for a short story under 1 minute? Anyone? Yes or no? Yes. This is a story that I really enjoy sharing with most people. Really made a huge difference when I heard it for the first time. There was a beautiful village, rural India. One fat kid, one very tiny, skinny kid. Both of them playing cricket. Khelte khelte, they step out of the village premises and far away from the village, the fat guy falls into a well. Now they're all shouting, screaming. It's evening time. It's a jungle. They're afraid. They ask for help, but there's no one around. And then this young, thinny, skinny guy decides कि वो climbers को मिला के ना, he's going to make this rope and then put it down in the well and then go out. And then he actually does it. They go back to the village. Parents are afraid. Just to cut it short, like every parent does, they ask them कि क्या हुआ, किधर थे, कहाँ गए? And they say नहीं वो गिर गया, तो उसको मदद करते करते इतना टाइम लग गया. And they say that's impossible. Impossible that this fat guy falls into the well and you're such a skinny guy, how did you pull him off? And they keep narrating the same story to everyone. So finally they go to this old man in this village, जिसकी आंखें बिल्कुल नहीं है, but you know they go and consult him for anything that happens in the village, and he says, आप लोग सुन नहीं रहे हो कि बच्चे क्या कह रहे हैं. The whole point is, उस वक्त जब ये छोटा स्किनी बच्चा उस मोटे बच्चे को ना उठा रहा था from that well, उसके आसपास कोई नहीं था उसको कहने के लिए कि तुमसे ना होगा. And that is the moral of the story. So दुनिया क्या कहेगी और लोग क्या कहेंगे? You know, this is a line that we all do. Live your life and don't let anyone come and tell you this is not possible. If anyone tells you that, they simply don't have the courage to do what needs to be done, and that's exactly what you guys are doing. And I want to throw the light on our speakers to come here and tell you we got some beautiful eminent speakers today. You heard their profiles. It's worth listening to their experience about how they tackled the problems, how they found solutions, how they did not give up, and how they did not simply say, I'm going to be in my comfort zone, iske aage aur nahi. They simply said, let's set the story. Let me write my own story. Let me write my own destiny. And today our eminent speakers will be talking to you about the entrepreneurial space in India. Recently, a lot of startups have gained limelight for their innovation and creations. Let's hear from two dynamic people here who not just created but built brands across the regular conventions. I now like to invite Mr. Vivek Bajaj to kindly take over and enlighten us about his journey as a finance enthusiast and now a widely reckoned entrepreneur. And Mr. Vivek, before you say anything, I think the all-important question that all of us need to know, including me, how do we make more money?
Good morning, everyone. Thanks a lot, Arvind, for setting the context. Such beautiful words from you is amazing. I hope you guys are having great time. Okay, how many of you out here are introverts? Raise your hand. Introverts. I'm just extending what Arvind said, so just giving you a context here. So many introverts. Amazing. And how many of you no benchers in school? No benchers. You know no benchers? So there are front benchers, there are back benchers, and there are no benchers. So basically, maybe your school friend doesn't remember you existed or not, right? How many of you know benchers in school? Okay, don't worry, you are in a safe company because this is exactly what I was, an introvert, no venture, absolutely rejected, didn't know what to do with my life. And only one thing which ignited that fire inside me, कि पापा Xavier's जाना है. Xavier's में admission चाहिए ही चाहिए. Class 10, class 11, class 12. There is only one passion which really drove me hard was that Xavier's is where I belong to. And when I came to Xavier's, the first day of St. Xavier's College, I am a BCom Xavier's 9. Next target was MBA jana hai, IIM jana hai. Because Xavier's gives you that opportunity to think really big, push you hard. Because the peer group which is studying with you, the peer group is so awesome. IIT Bombay, one of the top 10 guys sitting beside me and talking normal stuff. And I thought if they can do it, I can also do it. So at every point, every stage of your life, you just get inspired. And at the end of this 15 minutes of discussion, I want you to carry only 2-3 key points from my discussion. One is very important. Just get inspirations from people. And inspiration, you don't need heavy startup funded unicorns to get inspired from. There are people like Khan sir in this country who are there to get inspired. So money cannot be the only reason why you should get inspired from people. The impact people are leaving to us is something which is far more valuable than the money. You know, we are talking about entrepreneurship today, and late C.K. Palada said a very good thing. I don't know how many of you would have heard his name, that an entrepreneur is a modern day freedom fighter. Why did he say that? An entrepreneur is fighting every single day, because India is the toughest country for being an entrepreneur. Because the moment you start a business, you realize that, 10 people are already there in that business. And the moment you become slightly reasonable skill in that business, you realize 20 people have already entered that business. So technically, you are competing with 30 people at any point of time in your business. That means you need to have some kind of an edge, some kind of a uniqueness to succeed in your business. Sure, India has an opportunity, huge. All of us are consuming. Our average age is 28.5. We have such a lovely government structure right now that we can only think about positive things about India. So yes, we need to be bullish. We will be bullish. But as an entrepreneur, we need to be realistic also. Today, if we start something and we just create a dream castle, and we realize that after a point of time, after 4 years, 5 years, 6 years of effort, you have not really scaled up to the extent you should have scaled up. You don't want to reach that situation. So think about it. Entrepreneurship is glamorous, it's sexy, it's amazing. But for 4 or 5 years, it's a really tough battle. But what do you need to succeed as an entrepreneur? What do you need? Obviously, you need a plan, you need a business model, you need people to back you up, you need immense support from your family, immense support. It is not just support, you need your family to be there always. You need to have a great relationship with your family. You know, typically after a point of time, we start giving them lesser time, which is so bad. We need them, because you'll cry every week. You will find those days when you will start crying that, why did I do this? Job was much better. It could have been a much better scenario for me, but hey, you are making an impact. Today, in 3 organizations which I co-founded, 600 people work. Now 600 families getting empowered, they're living their life, they're creating a lifestyle for themselves. That is something which is driving me. That should drive all of us. So impact is far more important than anything else. Okay, let me just quickly ask, how many of you are first year here? First year? Wow, first year you're hearing all these things. That's amazing. Second year? Okay, and third year? Okay, great. So first year is actually it's a lovely time to listen to all these things, talk about these things. And I know a lot of my batchmates from Xavier's, they actually started the seed of entrepreneurship from first year itself. So can I ask you, anyone who has a bit of entrepreneurship experience? A bit? Anything. Could be anything. Maybe selling I remember my friend selling prepaid vouchers in the college and making enough money to cover his college fees. Anyone, any entrepreneurship? Any experience? Great. So from here, when you go back, think. कि छोटा कैसे चालू कर सकते हैं? We have to start small something, because the whole experience of starting something will get you into that path of entrepreneurship. When I started with something, and then I progressed. I did a lot of forward integration, backward integration, and I was able to scale up what I am trying to do. So can you start something? Can you go back and think? Can you go back and think? क्या कर सकते हैं? कुछ भी कर सकते हैं. अरे कुछ नहीं तो we can buy something and try to sell it at slightly higher price than what we have bought, which is typically trading. At least get into that groove of entrepreneurship. These days, people are finding a lot of value in entrepreneurship as well. What is entrepreneurship? Where you are working with a company, but you are as good as entrepreneur. And you get ESOPs in the company, you get you are part of that value creating journey of an organization. That is also perfectly fine. right? Don't just be fixated about कि मुझे तो businessman ही बनना है, I want to become an entrepreneur. Even if you're an entrepreneur with a growing organization, it's absolutely fine. But you have to start somewhere. If someone employs you, they are expecting you to become an entrepreneur. They are not expecting you to become an employee. The whole concept of employee is dead. RIP. It's gone. No one wants employee anymore. When I'm interviewing people, what I'm expecting is ki, do you have that entrepreneur skill set inside you? Then only you will grow. And if you grow, I grow. Right? One more aspect which I want to park, and we have some great speakers, so I don't want to take more time from you guys, is value people. I think one thing which we really are going away because of this complex social media world is we have started taking people for granted. Do not do that, because ultimately what differentiates a good entrepreneur, and we all have examples of Ratan Tata and other people, we know how much value they have given to relationships, to people, to humans in the organization. And the other aspect of the modern world, which is social media. As I said, I started with the fact that I'm an introvert, right? And some of you would be saying that look at the way he's speaking, he can't be an introvert. But yes, I was an introvert. I challenged myself. I faced camera. I became active in social media. Today I have more than 1 million followers in social media, and I feel good about it. But that was the need of my business. Eventually, every entrepreneur will become a social media personality, and every social media personality will become an entrepreneur. So do you guys have your social profile ready? How many of you are recording videos? Raise your hand. 1, 2, 3. How many of you are active in one of the social media platforms for serious content contribution, not consumption? 99% people are there as consumer of the content. How about people who are also contributing the content? How many content contributors? Come on, raise your hand. So, they say that only 1% people are successful in the world. Why? Because they definitely try to do something different. So look at social media in a very different manner. It is not just about consuming content, doing this. It adds value to your entertainment, but your entertainment is your currency. You are paying something to get the entertainment. And what is that? What are you paying to get the entertainment? Time. Time is the biggest currency we have. I heard a very reputed guy from a big social media enterprise, and he told me, Vivek, what do we earn out of social media platforms? We earn the time people are spending on us, and that indirectly gets translated into money. So think about it. Do you want to become a consumer and waste your time? Or do you want to become a contributor and add value to your time? So much to talk, so much to think about, but I don't want to waste too much time further. It's a new world, it's a new area of entrepreneurship. I have been adapting myself to the new style of entrepreneurship. I'm very happy that you guys are starting early. Please look at the traditional entrepreneurship models, but do look at the new growing entrepreneurship model and the way new entrepreneurship is to be created. Social media, connecting, collaborating with people. Gone the days when we are competing. There is no concept of competition anymore. They say that if you are competing, you are dead. You have to collaborate with people. So this is a new world we are living in. So I hope your academic pursuits from here on teaches you the new mode of entrepreneurship. Thank you so much for your time, everyone. Thank you, Arvind.
I completely agree with him when he says it's a new world. When I started radio 19, 20 years back, back then people had patience to listen to a song if we told everyone that break your spare gana aa raha hai. Now you have a Spotify, you have your internet, you have your Bluetooths, and you have the world of internet. It's like a wildfire. You make the right content, you have the right product, you have the right idea, and it sells like wildfire. There are things that go viral on the internet, and so rightfully asked, how many people create content? I think 3 or 4 people just raise their hands, but I'm sure it's a number which goes well beyond it. आप सबके Instagram profiles अगर मैं देखूं, then a lot of reels I will find. Now dancing videos, right? Singing videos, and I don't know, off late, what is the trending South Indian song that's going everywhere and everyone's dancing around it. But anyways, do follow our speakers on the social media profiles also, and I'll use this platform to build a little extra likes on my Instagram profile. You can find me on Instagram as RJ Arvind. You know, I have our second speaker who's going to talk about his life as a corporate and also as an entrepreneur. As someone who treks mountains, you know, I've spent over 19 years in a radio station, which is like a corporate office. Okay, it's like a corporate office. Believe it or not, we radio presenters have our presentations and Excels and everything to do with our clients. So that's a different ball game altogether. Understand corporate life. It took me a couple of years, but I realized it's like a trek that I take. You know, I love trekking mountains. तो मुझे लगता है वो आप जब ट्रैक करते हो ना mountains, you take 2 or 3 hours or 4 hours to reach the summit, right? It's the same with an office. You know, you trek from your house, you drive, you come, and then you reach your office. Your cubicle is at suicide point. It took me a lot of years to realize that that cubicle is at suicide point, where all kinds of opinions and thoughts are thrown at you. But corporate life teaches you a lot of things. Now it's a choice that you have. Would you like to be the one who goes to the HR for your placement and says, "आपको जो salary देना है दे दीजिए," or would you like to be the one who says, "How much do you expect?" That's the difference between an entrepreneur and someone who's employed. Mr. Mukherjee, I'll allow you to take it from here.
Good morning. Am I audible? I can't hear you guys. Yes. Good. You heard a lot many things. What I'll do is I'll wrap up the thing in a small fashion so that all of you probably will get a bit of a flavor what Arvind just talked about the corporate flavor. But before that, let me go back 30 years ago and probably share some of my experiences which might be beneficial for some of you. It may not for most of you. First, the question, how many of you are from Calcutta or Kolkata rather? Right? Okay. And how many of you are not from Kolkata? So that's a fair amount of mix. So I don't belong to Kolkata. So that's the first point that I would like to make. Nothing wrong in that. But the facilities that you are getting, I would like to draw upon certain features and certain probably the way that you have been growing up and the facilities that we got when we were in school and colleges are tremendously different. So I started my schooling at very lucky to be under a missionary school. I grew up a city which is far away from Kolkata. I did my schooling, and during those days we never had all these concepts of Facebook or YouTube or Instagram or whatever you get to see today. Okay, not even a mobile phone. But one good thing that came into my blood, I would say, from my schooling was we had a concept of, now more or less I don't see that, but in some of the schools they do have a concept called Rotaract, which is part of the which is a part of the Rotary International. And our journey, we started the Rotary, the Interact Club as part of social services, and we used to do social services under the auspicious guidance of Her Holiness Mother Teresa. Okay, so we were serving, and that's how I got in contact with the social environment other than my schooling life. And that was one of my turning points as an individual, where I could see a lot of challenges in my in the society, and that actually still in me, and that actually keeps me running. Otherwise, I don't need to run. So if you ask me what is that probably pushes you to be an entrepreneur, because in the corporate world, as Arvind was talking about, that the cubicle or the room that you operate becomes your suicidal bed, is actually very true. So I worked globally. I have seen situations, or I have been through situations, but never ever I was able to achieve what I wanted to achieve myself as an individual. And what better way? So I'll give you my history. 2018, during the Durga Pujas, I actually came down to Kolkata for a vacation for around 2 weeks. And during the pujas, I caught up with a couple of guys and we were discussing about a few solutions or a few projects that we wanted to do for the social sector. Because we were heavily involved from the corporate sector from a CSR perspective. So we were into CSR and we were helping a lot of organizations, but we wanted to do something pretty big. So we were discussing this, and I remember that day, 24th of October 2018, at around 4 o'clock, I suddenly felt that I'm not keeping well. And I decided to consult one of my friends who happens to be a top doctor in Kolkata. And I told him, because I'm not feeling well, so what do I need to do? So he said, nothing has happened. You are thinking too much about what you are trying to achieve and you are not achieving it. So that's where the problem comes in for you. Leave your job, quit your job. That was the medicine that he prescribed to me. And honestly speaking, I was in a dilemma because my son was in his second year of engineering, and if I quit my job, what's going to happen? So a whole lot of stories started breaking down on my head. But I decided enough, I will quit and let me take up the challenge. And I quit 25th of October, and I was in fact not released, but I was given at least 90 days to hand over everything. So 31st of January 2019, I completely exited from my professional career after 32 years. And I decided I will do something what I wanted to do most. And before I move on to my current engagement, that what we have done for Kolkata, I would like to share something which probably remains untold. I'm not sure if anybody of the media has covered it or any one of you probably is aware of it. And by accident, I would say by accident, we saved around 5 lakh plus people during the pandemic. And I'll just share the inspiration of what we did. So today, let me give you one example. Today, if you go to a remote village, anywhere in the country, forget Bengal, you can go to anywhere in the country. All of us know the condition of the healthcare. And today, since God thank, otherwise if you look at, had pandemic been not there, we would have not even been talking about healthcare. And pandemic, we all know what we went through. I don't think there is a single one in this room who has not been hit by the pandemic in any form or the other. Now think of a situation if this is what we are getting to see in a city like Kolkata, what might happen in a remote village, which doesn't have a doctor, doesn't have a hospital, doesn't have a nurse, doesn't have medicines. And this is something which has been bothering me for the last 30 years. So today I am happy to share with you that we are running 1150 automated digital dispensaries in the country, help of technology, where anybody in the village, be it a kid, be it a mother, be it an expecting mother, be it a heart patient, be it somebody bitten by the snakes, they can walk into our center. They can use technology to consult a doctor who might be sitting anywhere in India over the video platform, and that works even in a 2G platform. So barest of the bare minimum technology that is required. We can do 47 tests on the spot using a technology which is patented, and I can only give you one simple example. If you are flying into space, I cannot take your blood for a sample. What happens is, I do a test which is based on a color matching test. So that's a patented technology. So we do those 47 tests, except couple of tests which are not allowed. So I'm not allowed to do an USG. I am not allowed to do an X-ray in a remote village because of regulations. So we do this entire test on the spot. The doctors can actually hear the patient or consult the patient through 17 devices which are connected automatically, or I would say remotely, including a digital stethoscope or any kind of device that you talk about. And then what happens is the doctor releases a prescription. There is an automatic dispenser for the medicines. The medicines get dispensed for 5 days, precisely for 5 days. And that gentleman walks out of that clinic absolutely free of cost. He doesn't have to pay a single penny. Now who pays us? So I have talked about the social side of it. What about the business side of it? We get paid by the government. Now I'll give you an example, a cost analysis of a PHC run by the government and by us. Any PHC run by the government today needs to spend around 7.5 to 8 lakhs with zero service. Means you can't expect a service from there because it's all under the government. You still don't have a doctor, you still don't have a nurse, you still don't have an ambulance, you still don't have the medicines. We run that entire facility 24/7. It doesn't work 24/7, but the facility is available 24/7 with 100% service. The cost of the government till date has not even gone beyond 4 lakhs per center. It's around hovering between 3.75 to 3.8 lakhs per center. So this is a business model which we have implemented, which is something very core to my heart, because I find that people at the level where they are not expecting a service, there is no service provided, you can attack the social side of it by doing a social justice, and you can convert that entire scenario into a business scenario, into a business probability. I'm happy to say that I heard, Mr. Bajaj talking about employment. And that's very interesting, because today we employ a phenomenal number of people on the rural India who provides the services non-stop to the people that we are talking about. We have been engaged with medical colleges across the country where budding doctors who just passed out have now been empaneled on the platform to provide these services even free of cost. So they are doing, the organizations who wants to do a CSR is coming on the platform. Organizations which wants to give us medicines are coming on the platform, and we are able to provide certain services. Even so, there are few sub-centers even in Bengal, particularly in Sundarban areas where you don't have access even. So we are trying to set up certain centers there also. So you are looking at a social angle and then probably trying to work out a solution with technology or whatever business logics that you have. I'll address those later. And then what happens is you convert it into a business opportunity. So something that you believe in yourself, something that you wish to do, focus on that. And I keep using the word because I come from an organization where I spent around 12 years with an organization called IBM. And if you walk into any office of IBM, there's only one thing that's written across. The IBM logo is never written anywhere in the offices. The one thing that's written in the IBM offices, anywhere that you walk in, even in Kolkata, a letter called Think. So the DNA, I was very lucky to have spent around 12 years with IBM, and I always go back and tell everybody that probably that's the best part of my career, where I learned a lot in terms of how do you build yourself into this thinking process? How do you refine your thinking? So if you have an idea, think about that idea not from a businessman perspective initially. Think of that idea, and that's the second example that I'm going to give you about my second venture. Think of that idea from a completely different perspective. And I'm going to now give you an example for that. Now you have heard that probably I am being talked about more in the media now because of the new venture that we have been talking about is a snappy e-cabs, right? So I don't know how many of you are aware of it. We are the organization, one of the first organizations in the country who launched all electric cab hailing services for Kolkata. So today we run around 400 cabs in Kolkata, which is 100% electric cabs. And these cabs are owned by us. And we are going to pump in around 5,000 cabs in the city of Kolkata. Our aim is to make Kolkata clean from a pollution perspective. That's one of the missions. So that's the mission statement of the organization. But why do we do it? Why did we do that? We could have gone into for CNG also. The question remains, why do we do that? Now forget Snappy for the time being, and let's look at what made us think and what made us, again, I'm going to give you an example of the thing. So today if you call up a Ola and a Uber, you call up a book an Ola and a Uber, what's the first statement? Udai javan. Second question, cash devan na credit card devan. Right? Third, cancel. Javuna. Now what, traditionally what you and I will say? Bakwas service. But have you ever got into that mode and thought about why did the driver say cash? Why did the driver say cancel? Why did the driver did not behave with you properly? Have you thought about this? Did anyone in the room have I'm just asking you a normal process. Did you ever think that why did that guy ask for cash? Why did that guy say I will not go, I will cancel the trip and I'm not coming? Did any of you in this room think about it? Somebody said yes, excellent, but what about the rest? Okay, so this is what I am telling you to think, and I'll give you the answer for that also, what we did. So we spent 3 months on the ground interacting with the drivers. So practically we became drivers. We actually moved out of our dresses, we became a driver when we started interacting with the driver and we understood the problems. So today any app cab driver in the city, they need to first earn a minimum of 1800 rupees. A minimum of 1800 rupees, which goes in terms of buying his fuel, and at least 1000 rupees to 800 rupees, which goes to the owner of the vehicle, until and unless he is the owner of the vehicle. 10% or 20% of the Ola Uber vehicles driven are run by the owners. Most of them are driven by the drivers, right? That's how the whole industry works. So until and unless you earn 1800 rupees, you don't even have a single penny to go back home. So a driver's earning starts happening only after he earns 1800 rupees. So if you earn, say, a whole day, say 2400 rupees, you take home around 600 rupees. That's what we realized. And we wanted to solve this. Now, think of a situation if a driver, they do also have a family. They have kids at home, they have a wife at home, they have parents at their home. Now once they go back, they find out that some of them are seriously ill at their home. Where do you take them? So your 600 vanishes automatically. So a driver starts his day with a huge load on his head. That I need to spend cash to buy my fuel, I need to give $1,000 to my owner, and then I need to earn something to take care of my family. So his focus is not on driving, his focus is how he can make his day. That was what was identified in our thinking process. Today when we launched Snappy, we have eliminated all of this. So a driver is not a driver with us. A driver is a driver partner with us. He doesn't have to give us 800 rupees. He doesn't have to buy electricity, he doesn't have to buy fuel, we provide that. We take care of his entire family in terms of his health care. So when he goes back home, if God touch wood, nothing happens, but if anything happens at his home, he has the facility to take the covered persons to any top hospital in Calcutta absolutely free of cost. They are covered through a corporate Mediclaim policy which we run. Because we identified that until and unless we are taking care of that particular need, when you book Snappy as an individual, you will also face the same problem. So if you call us Snappy, there is no cancellation, we do not have a cancellation button anywhere. We do not have a surge pricing, we do not have somebody will asking you for paying you cash. Cash de dijiye, nobody is going to ask you that because they are not worried. They are paid on a basis based on their performance, based on kind of a salary you can say. So we eliminated one problem first in order to tackle a bigger problem. And that's called thinking. So my personal request to all of you, if you have heard a lot of your seniors speaking, in fact some of your teachers, the corporates and all, whenever we addressed a problem, whenever you see a business case, whenever you think that I would like to do this, move out of your comfort shoes, move into somebody else's shoes as a consumer or as a, for example, I learned that this year that your major focus is on the fashion. And I heard that your press secretary talking about that there are 300 million people engaged in this. And it's a reality because I worked in that sector as a consultant in terms of technology. and I know how people are working. For example, Bangladesh. Bangladesh is a country where fashion industry probably is the main source of their income and exports. Even in India, I mean, if you go to a place called Khidrpur, it's a huge place where the fashion industry or majority of your shirts or trousers that you probably are wearing are getting manufactured there, and with the pathetic condition in terms of the overall scenario. So the choice is, I'm not telling you what to do, but what I'm trying to tell you is if you are solving a problem in the fashion industry, look at the problems first, think about solving those problems and eradicating those problems before creating a solution. Because the solutions today are very simple to be created. You have technologies available, you have the depth of the technology and the organizations to support you. You have organizations like Google, Microsoft, IBMs of the world who pumps in money to freshers like all of you with a new thought process in terms of getting new technologies to be delivered. But think of the solution that needs to be created first. Once you have the solution in place, once you think that the overall process of eliminating the source of that problem has been identified, it's very easy to convert that into a business model. So these are the two things which I personally believe. And other thing is, there are three other aspects of an entrepreneurship. Whenever you want to become an entrepreneurship, people talk about startups. Yes, we are technically a startup. And as Mr. Bajaj talked about, that you need to look at two combinations. There is a traditional way of business and there is a startup community of business. So a lot of times what happens is people as they start their journey, they get confused. Because in most of the startups you get to see and when you learn, you see people, I'm not going to name anybody in this forum, but you see a lot of startup people, they have made millions of dollars and suddenly they are out of picture. And suddenly there are organizations which are there for eternity. For example, if you study the organization like the Tata Group in the country, it's an organization which is 75 years old or maybe 100 years old. If you look at global corporations like Ericsson, like organizations like IBM, they are 110, 115 years old. How are they surviving? Okay, but none of the startups today, if you heard probably the name of Flipkart, right? And today, I'm sure you are aware who owns Flipkart. Yes, and then who created Flipkart? Okay, so that's another side of the story. I'm not telling which is bad or which is good. But you as an individual need to be satisfied and you need to have a very clear idea that what is that you want to be in life. You want to be remembered, you want to be really doing something good for the society, or you have a plan which can be accepted and accommodated by each and everybody and appreciated by each and everybody. So my take on entrepreneurship is very simple. Yes, money will come. If you have a business model which has a wide impact, don't run after money, money will run after you. So that's something which has been established. We have business models or we have seen business models which during COVID, I will say that during COVID we were open 24/7. And this online system that we had developed was actually taken over by the government. So anybody and everybody who walked into our center and was diagnosed with the basic minimum symptoms, have a temperature, have body ache, immediately they were rushed to the nearby COVID testing centers for an RT-PCR and they were taken care of and immediately action was taken. In that process, out of these 1150 centers that we started in 2019, we calculated and we have the data, we were able to save around 5,70,000 people across 3 states of Madhya Pradesh, Odisha and in Rajasthan. These 3 states we were able to preempt this and we were able to save this. So that's a huge satisfaction for me as an individual other than the financial satisfaction that came in. So it gave me 2 satisfaction as an entrepreneur. I had a dream of doing something when I was a kid. I went to my school and I started this journey of going to the villages and trying to help people. That actually shook me up and I said I wanted to do something. 2019 when I started, I felt peace of my mind. Yes, I have done something. And obviously from a financial perspective, it's definitely coming in. So I'm not going to discuss the financials now. But you must as an entrepreneur be confident of doing 2 things. One is a satisfaction within your own heart of the dream that you have and that you are doing something for the society. If you are doing something for the society, you will be happy yourself. But if you try to do only for yourself, then it will be a tough journey. So with these words, I would end my session. Thanks all of you once again. And any kind of support, any kind of help that you guys need, reach out to me on my social media page or on LinkedIn. I'm more on LinkedIn rather than on the Facebooks of the world. So anything that you need, drop me a message. I take generally 24 hours maximum to respond back. But I can assure you there will be a response from my end. Thank you.
Well, with that, we're almost coming to an end. I have just 3 things to tell you before I wrap it up. How many of you love movies? Everyone loves. How many of you love English movies? Search for a movie called Secret Life of Walter Mitty. How many of you have seen this movie? Very few. It's a Ben Stiller movie. I repeat, please note it down. Secret Life of Walter Mitty. Whatever I want to tell you, it's all there in this movie. It's all about travel. It's all about stepping out of your comfort zone. It's all about finding yourself in this world, taking a deep breath to answer all the questions of the universe. It's right there on OTT once again, The Secret Life of Walter Mitty. And before I end up, it's been an immense honor, pleasure to be amongst each one of you. I've always been a sports guy. I've always been trekking mountains. There's a favorite tennis player I have. His name is Rafa Nadal. How many of you have heard about him? Good. So the 22-time Grand Slam winner is one of the most successful players in the history. But when he started his career, the doctors told him that he can't play tennis. Why? Because he can't run from one end of the court to the other end of the court. And that was when he was all about 14 or 15 years old. At that particular time, his uncle, who was his coach, would make sure that right after a very rigorous 5-hour training session on the courts, when all the students would leave, Nadal would end up cleaning the courts. And he complained to his uncle, "Why are you making me do this? I have a thorn on my leg's bleeding, I can't move." And he said 2 things. He said, "Your opponent's not going to have any mercy on you when you reach the final stages of a Grand Slam, number 1. So don't expect it from me. Number 2, when you clean the courts, you develop humility. So no matter how much is the amount of success that you guys achieve in life, please remember, a little humility always goes a long way." And finally, I would like to thank all the sponsors for the event. Wow Momo, China, Ranisha Flowers, Wow Puchka, Fat Tiger, Macho Hind, Ajanta Shoes, Green Genie and the Unbranded Company. And before I wrap it up, thank you so much for being such a lovely, beautiful audience. My God, you guys are almost clapping as if "Theek hai, jao, jao, jaldi jao" kar rahe ho. I want to come back to this campus, guys, and I've always enjoyed coming back here for UConnect, for the TED Talks, and then now for HALT and making my debut right here. There is a special round of applause for a wonderful girl I just got to know 48 hours back from this campus. I don't say this for most people. I really don't say this for most people, but I think she's got a wonderful voice to become a radio presenter if she chooses to be. I think her name's Aishi, right? Aishi Agarwal? Aishi, right? Yeah, Aishi, please come. So can you put your hands and a round of applause for Aishi Agarwal, who I think can be a brilliant radio presenter, because I heard her for 2 minutes on stage and I was like, wow, she's got the voice to become a radio presenter. लेकिन मेरे रिटायरमेंट के बाद तुम रेडियो एंटर करना, मेरे सेशन चल रहा है. Still want to be in radio for a couple more years. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your kind words, sir, and thank you for joining us today in spite of your busy schedule. We really appreciate you joining us for the event. I thank all our speakers for joining us today, Mr. Vivek Bajaj and Mr. Jaideep Mukherjee. I request our volunteers to kindly escort our speakers out of the auditorium. Before we conclude the opening ceremony, we have a very special guest with us today, the founder and the campus director of the HALT Prize organization in St. Xavier's College Autonomous Kolkata, Hemant Tulsian. I request Hemant to kindly address everyone.
पीछे के लोग जाने के लिए रेडी है क्रेडिट्स लेने के लिए. गुड मॉर्निंग टू द प्रोबेबल डेड सोल्स ऑफ बीकॉम मॉर्निंग, बिकॉज मैं भी वहीं का था, एंड कंपेरेटिवली हैप्पी सोल्स ऑफ एनी अदर डिपार्टमेंट हियर. सो हल्ट की बात होगी आज, हल्ट का माहौल है, तो एक स्टोरी सुनाऊंगा. थोड़ा फनी है, शायद आप लोगों को लगे फनी, शायद ना लगे, पता नहीं. सो व्हेन यू स्टार्ट अ न्यू इनिशिएटिव इन कॉलेज ना, आप लोग को जाना पड़ता है फादर के पास. एक मीटिंग होता है रूम 15A में, वहाँ बहुत कम लोगों को जाने का एक्सेस मिलता है, और वहाँ पे आप लोग को पिच करना पड़ता है कि क्या करना है क्या नहीं करना है. ठीक है, तो मैं वहाँ गया और मेरे साथ मेरे को फाउंडर थे देवेश जसनानी. ही वॉज अ ब्रिलियंट गाय, मोस्ट टैलेंटेड पर्सन. तो हम लोग को पिच करना था कि हल्ट क्या है, क्यों होना चाहिए वो कॉलेज में. भाई इतना सारा सोसाइटी है, हल्ट क्या नया ले आएगा. सो हम लोग सोचे गए कि वो स्टार्टिंग इंट्रोडक्शन देंगे एंड वो बोलेंगे कि दिस इज हेमंत फाउंडर, एंड देन आई विल कंटिन्यू. एकदम सेट होता है ना, फुल प्रूफ प्लान फोड़ के आना है. अंदर गए, बात शुरू हुआ, वो बोलना शुरू किया अपना मस्त इंग्लिश में, एंड मेरा तो कुछ था ही नहीं. सो ही स्टार्टेड एंड देन सडनली माय फोन रैंग एंड इट वाज नॉट ऑन साइलेंट. सो इट्स ओके, फोन रैंग, कौन सा बड़ा बात है, बट द रिंगटोन वाज द बड़ा बात. आई व्हाट द रिंगटोन वाज, यू विल फील कि भाई गया, हल्ट नहीं होने वाला. तो द रिंगटोन वाज दिस. और आप लोगों को पता है इसमें गाली आती है, और लास्ट तक चला. जैसे जैसे रिंगटोन का साउंड बढ़ रहा है, भैया अपना साउंड बढ़ा रहे कि रिंगटोन का आवाज ना सुनाई दे, और वो लोग सब मेरे को देख रहे हैं. फिर वो जैसे बोले हेमंत उल्सान, हम ऐसे हम नहीं खड़ा हो सकता, आप बोलिए. एंड वो बोल रहे, फिर क्वेश्चन हुआ, खत्म हुआ. एंड जब हम लोग बाहर जा रहे थे तो उनको समझ आ रहा कि आई वॉज वेरी नर्वस. तो वहां से फादर बोले पीछे से कि हेमंत टेक अ चॉकलेट, वेरी गुड जेस्चर, इज लाइक खाओ. तो मैंने ऐसे चॉकलेट लिया, मैंने भैया को दे दिया. फिर मैंने एक और चॉकलेट लिया, तो जो बंदा खड़ा था ना उसका मैंने किडनी ले लिया, ऐसा लग रहा था. बट एट द एंड सब लोग हंसे, फिर हल्ट हुआ. सो दिस वाज वन ऑफ द स्टोरीज जिससे हल्ट का शुरुआत हुआ था. बट दिस इज समथिंग यू शुड नो व्हाई, बिकॉज ये सब चीज मेरे को हेल्प किया. अब थोड़ा ज्ञान का बात कर लेते हैं, इसीलिए हम आए हैं यहाँ पे. तो देयर आर 4 C's दैट हेल्प मी, एंड 4 C's क्यों, हम मार्केटिंग का पर्सन है, मेरे को 4 C's बहुत अच्छा लगता है. तो देयर इज क्यूरियोसिटी, देयर इज कैरेक्टर, there is consistency, and there is communication that helps a lot. And ये 4 चीज मेरे को ग्राउंड अप से मदद किया. I won't say ये सेल्फ बोस्टिंग है, but I was not a very good candidate to do anything while I was in college, but I was able to make it till here. सब लोग सोच रहे हैं कि यार ये सब पढ़ना होता तो, क्योंकि 80% तो यहाँ सीए बैठे हैं जो लोग क्रेडिट्स के लिए बैठे हैं, तो सोचे इससे अच्छा तो रंजन बेरीवाल का क्लास कर लेते हैं. बट ठीक है, आई थिंक आई विल कम फॉर मोस्ट वैल्यू. अगर ये लोग बुलाए, अगर मेरा स्पीकिंग अच्छा लगा, ऐसे कुछ खास नहीं है. एंड आई एम सॉरी टू डू इट इन हिंदी, अगर आप लोगों को पता नहीं हो. आई एम नॉट सो गुड इन इंग्लिश, बट आई कैन स्पीक फ्लुएंटली. शाहरुख खान से बोला था ना कि नॉट सो गुड इन इंग्लिश, और पूरा इंग्लिश में बोल दिया था. बट आई एम नॉट दैट कॉन्फिडेंट. सो थैंक यू सो मच फॉर एंटरटेनिंग. दिस टाइम इट्स अ रैप अप. बाहर जाइए, क्रेडिट्स मिलेगा, मेरे को दुआ दीजिएगा, क्योंकि मेरे वजह से आप लोगों को 5 घंटा मिल गया. थैंक यू सो मच.
Thank you, Hemant. I thank our audience for joining us today for the opening ceremony. That brings us to the end of the ceremony. I request the audience here to stay seated as balcony audience leaves.
Today we face the most urgent challenge in the history of humankind.